So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Daksh Gaur. I am the founder of Blub World magazine, which works on the focus of finding ideas to inspire other people. And from time to time, we try to create industry-wide papers on the K-12 education sector, which is typically trying to create repositories of what all innovative is happening within schools, so that the learning is continued and engaging enough for the coming generation. Today, you're all experiencing the 33rd edition of these Blub World Web Talks. Till now, in the last 32 talks, more than 300 school leaders from 60 plus geographies from across the world have participated and shared their ideas on no lockdowns on learning, which was basically to find out what all innovative did schools do during the lockdown so that learning continued. But since the 31st talk, the topic has now been changed to the post-lockdown school, which is typically to know what all changes or what all different things will you have to do within the school to run that post this crisis is over. We all know that we'll be using a lot of sanitizers. We all know that we'll be keeping social distances. Some things are there and which have already been prescribed by the government of India. But what is going to happen beyond what is prescribed? The kind of student that we'll get in our class won't be the same again. The kind of teacher that we'll have in the class again won't be the same. The dynamics of a class will drastically change. And when they change, how would you keep them engaged? Because the students that's going to come back to the class would have experienced one-on-one learning for a very long time. And now returning to one-to-many won't be very easy. They've all now become accustomed to a screen. And how would you again create that level of better engagement for them in the class is something that's going to be a challenge. So what we want to know from you is what all innovations or ideas or your thoughts that you think would be of use in the post-lockdown school. Because as far as we all understand, the definition of a school or the definition of the operations of a school has been changed. We're not waiting for it to change. It has already changed. For running a school, there are certain assumptions that we start a school with, that this would happen, and this would happen. Those assumptions no longer exist. So we have a very new kind of an arena that we have to again go back to and start afresh. So these talks are again basically to find out those innovative ideas in pedagogy, in operations, what all small little changes would you do within your school once this lockdown comes to an end. Because the post-lockdown school would be what we could think of after talking to last at least 3 talks on this, is going to be something which would revolutionize the society, not just the education sector. Because schools will now take amazingly big and amazingly inclusive roles for the society. A very nice idea that was shared yesterday by the principal of Kalinga Institute was that schools would now become the immunity hotspots for the society, because children can actually carry that message very well to their parents. You can teach them the new ways of increasing immunity, family sanitization, society safety, healthcare, because now you will be the baton bearers of the learnings or the next knowledge bank that the world would need post this crisis. So I hope we'll be having some amazing ideas coming in from you, and we'll document those ideas and share them with more than 5,000 school educational institutions across the globe. So let's strap up and let's get ready to have an amazing innovation and ideas coming in from you. Let's start from Preeti ma'am. Ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. You can unmute your audio. Give us your
A very good evening. A very good evening to everyone and all my eminent co-panelists today. At the outset, I'd like to thank Blub World and Mr. Devi Purohit for having me here today. I'm really feeling humbled because as teachers and educators, we are lifelong learners. We are not here to say that we know everything. And this situation is absolutely unprecedented and has taken all of us by surprise. The rug has literally been pulled from under our feet. And though we were innovating earlier also, we were preparing digital content, we were doing certain assessments. However, this pandemic has catapulted us like a fast forward and literally landed us in digital age 4.0. Both the teachers and the students, they are gearing up for this. And yes, there is a lot that we need to delve on, a lot that we need to think on. But definitely, the schools that we foresee in the future are few schools that will have to keep in mind many more things, not only as far as the infrastructure, and as you mentioned, the sanitization, the safety aspects, the number of students, the monitoring, the scanning of students, the thermal scanning at the boarding point, so many things. We are all in the education field brainstorming on those and creating the standard operating procedures for each one of them, because for us, what is very, very important is the safety and the security of the child. Though, yes, the digitally more aware child will be coming to school, however, I feel, the compassion that the child gets from the teacher, the physical connect, the warmth, uh, the fact that in a class the teacher is able to gauge in a moment, that the child is really attentive, or in a physical classroom, or the child is distracted or has some challenge, is something that a teacher can sense and gauge. And schools are not going anywhere, teachers are not going anywhere. In fact, there will be more compassion required, there will be more involvement of teachers required. And in fact, this digital shift that has taken place has actually resulted in many positives. There are more for the moment that the total shift, we used to struggle. There are all schools, and it's a known thing that sometimes they're struggling to get parents on board, to get them involved in the learning of the child. But here we are today, where parents and teachers are collaborating for this learning. They are equally, involved in the learning of the child. And if you see the senior grades, the children themselves are taking onus of the learning. We are all shifting to digital platforms, we are all trying out new things. And we see that children, the moment they are unable to connect on a certain lesson or a call, they are reaching out to teachers because they don't want to miss out. And the connect with the teacher will definitely always be very, very special. It's a bond that cannot be replaced. So the time that the children come to school, even when we open, it may be a hybrid model of functioning. When we do open, we are definitely going to require lots and lots of counseling skills for the teachers and more special counselors, so that the children can also remain very, very positive. Though I would say that it's a commendable job that the children are doing, a commendable job that the parents are doing, as well as teachers, in keeping afloat and moving forward innovatively. Very, very, I think they're also like the frontline workers in this moment, because they are working 24/7, creating content, learning newer skills, exploring new platforms, connecting with students in a different way, in fact getting into the homes of students now. So it's vice versa. While the teachers background is also visible to the child, so is also the child's background, especially so in the lower grades. There's more involvement, there's more connect with the parents. So that is one thing. So I feel that, and I truly believe what Einstein said, that in the midst of every crisis is a great opportunity. So this is a great opportunity to evolve and learn. And I don't think that this is, though of course world over there has been a loss, and we also here are going through very difficult times, but there are lots and lots of positive things taking place. I don't think this is a time of doom or a time of gloom. I think we need to stay positive. I would say this is a time for blooming, a time for going within, a time for making those connects that we usually did not go out to make. We are so beautifully connected with the student now, beautifully connected with the family now. Children are spending more time with the parents, with the grandparents. They are learning certain skills that are amazing.
Ma'am, we had to mute you, ma'am. The time is over. We'll try to again come back to you if it's possible. But some amazing thoughts. Thank you so much for sharing. We'll try to come back again to you if the time allows. I think special counseling sessions will have, if you're doing something on these lines or preparing some plans accordingly, please share those or some ideas with us. And the teacher's role will now be more of an observer rather than just a teacher. So let's see how these roles change. Let's now hear it from Subodip sir. Subodip sir, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Before you start, there was a very nice idea that one of the school principals just gave yesterday, that schools are places which are supposed to get the society together. We are the people who are supposed to teach students that we are, as a society, we are one single entity, and we are all now supposed to teach social distancing. So how do we do that? So let's now hear it from Subodip sir. Subodip ji, over to you for the next 3 minutes.
Yeah, good evening, everybody, the co-panelists and the organizers. I would just like to say that we have heard about post-summer vacation, we have heard about post-winter vacation, and now for the first time in my life, I'm hearing about something like post-lockdown schools. Well, being very positive, I would just like to say that every cloud has a silver lining behind it, and this phase two will be passing very soon. And we as principals, we as teachers should be ready to welcome the chirpy children into our classrooms once again. Now, for the last 1 month, I've been hearing about the new normal. Now, what is this new normal? I don't think anything has changed, sir. I think the name of the school, the children, the teachers, the parents, the infrastructure, the stakeholders, and their expectations all remain the same. So what has changed, or what is likely to change? There would be a change in the mindset. There would be a change in the awareness. There is going to be a change in the outlook, the attitude, and the lifestyle. There can be a probable change in the school culture. The principal's role would be changing from mere managers to being leaders. They have to come out of the comfort zones. There has to be a change in the resilience, the mode of operation. The curriculum transaction is going to be changed. And then, as principals, we have to be more of situational leaders than as positional leaders. Besides knowing the way, we need to go the way and then to show the way. Well, you have been talking about changes. The changes have already started. From technophobic teachers, the teachers have changed to techno-savvy. From the books, they have changed to sites. From classroom interaction, they have changed to online interactions. From pen and paper tests, they have gone for online tests. From passing of the responsibility, the teachers have groomed into developing a sense of responsibility. Teachers were sneaking behind the students in the classrooms. Now they are asking them to switch on their mics. And even for the students, the offline naughtiness has changed to online naughtiness, and no principal is going to differ from that. Now, how do we look at the post-lockdown scenario? Point number one, the bored, unhappy, scared children coming to the schools. Number two, teachers coming to the schools with lots of expectations. But then how many of the expectations can be really fulfilled? Number three, anxious and curious parents giving suggestions. Number four, we have the sustainable development amidst all limitations. And number five, point to be noted, the school is going to be under the scanner of everybody. Then what do we do as principals and as teachers? Number one, we need to keep the social distancing in mind while doing the infrastructure planning, while doing the transport planning, while planning out for the timetable, planning out the syllabus, the curriculum, the examination system, the breaks in the school, the games period, the exits and the entries, the academics, the students' counseling, and all other essentials of the day-to-day functioning, including most important is the cash flow or the finance generation of the school. Now, during this point of time, during the lockdown period, I, along with my colleagues, have already done certain online researches and certain brainstorming sessions. We are already deciding on doing all relevant activities, keeping the social distancing point of view. Because the moment they feel that because of social distancing, we cannot do anything, I think the care, the connect, and the communication part, the 3 C's, which are very important for learning, that is going to be lost sight of. Second, we are thinking of bringing 50% of the children in the classrooms on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and the remaining 50% of the children on the remaining 3 days. We are planning to increase the number of exits from the entry points of the school. We are even planning that the major subjects only would be featuring in the timetable. During the online classes, the minor subjects like moral science, GK, UPW are being taken care of on the Saturdays. We have decided to restructure and revamp the entire examination system. We have decided that a teacher should be present in the classrooms even if it is a break time, so that the discipline problem can be curbed. Because after all, school is a socializing place, And in when the school starts after 3 months of break, the juniors would like to socialize in their own way, and the senior school students are also going to socialize in their own way. So the best thing is bring the teachers in the classroom. Rigorous checking of the institutional as well as the personal sanitizing part has to be done. I feel three A's. One is we have to adopt new things, and then we have to adapt ourselves to those new things, and then only we can become adept. So ADOPT, ADAPT, and ADEPT. These three things if merged is what can give birth to what we call the blended classrooms or the flipped classrooms. And I feel that we are not going to start with the examination system immediately, because it should not be felt that we have done a lot of online come to the school now appear for the examinations. No, I am a counselor by profession, and I feel that a lot of counseling has to be done for the kids, for the middle school students, and for the senior school students. They have to be brought back to their school. The essence that they had, the quintessence that they had of their school is now not going to be the same. The school is going to be the same school, but then the configuration is going to be different. Well, whatever I've said is whatever I've planned till today. But what I believe is today, the COVID-19 has put forth a situational leadership crisis in front of all of us. We have to analyze every moment. We have to analyze every minute. We have to analyze every day.
So, Deepto sir, we'll again try to take your thoughts, but thank you so much. You had a very amazing and energetic speech. Thank you so much. I think you shared a lot of nice analogies, and we would want to know more about it. I hope that we can be able to speak to you again during this webinar itself. Now, let's hear it from Narayananji. Narayanji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. You can unmute your audio.
Good evening. As we all say, this time also will go very soon, because this is not going to become a constant kind of situation forever. So this is the time where we can focus on more civics learning, the kind of moral education which we can impart to the students and the society, parents and the societies. As we always say, I'm going back to our own old Upanishads and all. It was well said in one of the Upanishads, Acharyat padam adade padam shishya somethya padam sab brahmacharibhya padam kalakramena cha. That means if the lifespan is divided into 4 quarters, one part is only being imparted by the teachers, one part is by self, one part is by experience, and one part is from the parents. The children are becoming now self-learners, and the parental involvement is also more because of this reason. Otherwise, normal tendency of the parents, especially in private schools, that is putting the blame on the teachers and the school by telling that the course is not completed, you have not properly had taken equal responsibility in building up the children. And I wanted to say that we always focus on the transaction point of view. As we always say that give and take, that is, you teach and the children they take, and you teach, children take it. Now we have to come to a situation, because I always tell my team members and I always try to imbibe it in my school wherever I have worked, that is, the transaction should be changed into transformation, which we are failing in many parts. Now this is the right time where we can focus on the true transformation, that is the true evolution of the students will happen, and the complete evolution, and we can evolve the true citizens of our India. Because when we go abroad, especially the schools, they teach a lot of civic sense in the children. Now itself, if our children, when they go, they spit on the public places, even all those silly things which we can see that. Now all these kind of civic sense we can impart it in students. I think this corona will not be a major. Well said, this time also will go. Thank you.
Thank you, Narayanan sir. Normally, these web talks are, the audience is typically 8 to 10 school leaders. I think it's a bit low today. So setting when we can again come back to you and have a better discussion. to mute you. Please, if you want to again take a minute to, over to you. You can unmute your audio. You'll have to unmute the audio.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was great to hear the and as a very, very positive situation, right? As I said that, this pause should be taken very, very positively. Children, I have had children who are in these 40 days, they've written a book. We've had children engaging in social work. We have children helping NGOs, because they are tech savvy, they are collating data from home for NGOs, right? This has facilitated many things which would otherwise, we would have failed to achieve. We are seeing a totally different scenario. As a school, we first thought about the moment the holiday started after exams, we felt that children are going to go back and they can't even go down to play now. So, how do we keep them positive? How do we keep them engaged? And we came up with a platform on Facebook. If you could follow it, it's Together We Can, where we decide that together we can, overcome this too. And every day we are giving one interesting activity and a challenge. And now we've already given 28 challenges today, wherein children are learning simple things from basic cooking and recording their videos and uploading them, writing a poem, doing some face painting, physical exercise like sit-ups. So every single day we are trying to engage them and motivate them and keep them positive in this time. And I really, being from the psychology background, feel like I should follow them and these families to sorry about that. I think we should follow these families who are in this moment being so positive and so resilient. And as you said, Shubhadeep sir, about being adapting, they are adapting to this situation and not getting caved in by the stress. We should, if I really do one research, a longitudinal research for these cases, these will be the success stories, who will learn to cope in any situation. So right now the child is learning so many skills back home. He's appreciating what we talk about in school, the resources. He's appreciating the utility of those resources, the careful utilization, the judicious utilization, whether it is water, whether it is food, and they're getting involved in the home. So we must not fear that there's no learning taking place. I think there is tremendous amount of learning taking place right now, only that we are not being able to document that. But I feel that this is going to be the stronger generation that is going to come forward with a very, very different approach to learning and taking on challenges in life. So I really feel this is absolutely a time to bloom. Yes. And those of us who have enough, we must turn around and we must inculcate in children the habit of giving, the habit of realizing that they have a lot, and develop a lot of feeling of gratitude in the children at this time when they look all around what is happening to people who don't have, to people or children of younger age, of their age, who have been working and they are migrant workers, and look at the kind of life that they are, what is happening with them. So it is for them to for us to direct them to make these observations and ensure that learning goes on. And even if we are not able to document it, I can assure you that learning is happening in many fold directions and not in the traditional way. So when we do come back to the classroom setting, yes, the mindset and the teacher itself would have changed, and so also would have the child changed. And we have to, that time, pick up the threads and make sure that we are able to maintain the fabric of our institution, of the children, and keep them resilient, keep them positive. So this is what I wanted to add.
Thank you so much.
Of course, as Sir has already said, we are also working on all the SOPs, and from the moment the child is till the time there during class hours, during break hours, and so on and so forth, normal expected things that all schools are taking up.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, ma'am. Shubhadeep sir, your concluding lines were muted, so if you want, you can take a minute or two again.
Well, it is not about my concluding lines. Rather, I was just listening to what Priti ma'am was saying, and every word that she said, I would like to echo the same thing. Now, just about 15 years back, when I took over the principal's position, I used to hear a word like professional development. I really did not know what was this professional development. Today, the last 33 days, I learned the
Yes.
meaning and definition of what professional development is. I believe that today I am a stronger principal than I was 1 month before. I am sitting in a remote corner. My teachers are in another corner, and my children are in another corner, and my management is sitting in another distant corner. But how nicely we are doing it. Now, as Pritiman was saying, I do say the same thing, that it is not about the academics that we do in the classrooms. It is all about the other learnings, the life skills, the respect, the love, the ambience, the caring, the giving, the taking. All these things have actually escalated in the last 33 days. I'll just end by telling you one example. I do a lot of documentation in my school, and even during my online also, I made an online reporting system through WhatsApp. I created a monitors group, two monitors per class. You won't believe the way they used to do the reports. Now they're much more respectable and much more caring. And the last lines of all the reports of my students says, "Sir, please thank the teachers for the wonderful work that they are doing for us. We at home, we did not believe that such sir and such ma'am could be so online savvy. And sir, thank you very much for what pains you have done." So we have not taught all these things. Teachers have always blamed the students. But now, this is what equal reciprocation is all about. And I must say that being a principal, being a teacher, this is the thing that we actually wanted from the students. This is what we have lived our life for. And once again, thank you very much for giving all of us this nice platform, and hope that this mutual sharing helps the generation. And as Priti ma'am has said, yes, this generation is going to emerge stronger than the other generations in the years to come. And our copious blessings of this particular generation.
Absolutely. So after talking to these many school leaders and documenting so much of innovation that's going on right now in schools, what we could understand was the definition and the concept of the school is changing, but it's changing for good. And not just in the sense of the teaching and learning going on, it's changing as far as its role in the society is concerned. A school is now much more connected to it. The trust of this sector, or the trust factor that it had, is now skyrocketing like anything, because your support is now being felt by every section of the society who is in any way getting engaged with the school. So before this talk comes to a conclusion, I would just want to share with you two ideas which are simply food for thought, so that when we meet next, we can have some more better ideas coming in. So what do you think would now compose the future teacher? What kind of skills would he need? Now, why am I adding this thought? Simply put, content delivery or delivering information is no more a big skill for a teacher, because technology can do that very easily. So we'll now have to think and test every skill on the barometer of technology, that can technology do it? If technology can do it, humans have to do something else which is better than tech. So how do we actually check on what are the skills that we need for a teacher? During this time, we have asked a lot of schools to create observation papers on whatever is happening in their ecosystem. Just to share one idea, there's a very big school in Gujarat run by the Swaminarayan Trust. They were not able to send back all their hostelers home before the lockdown started. And they are right now engaging 50 students within their hostel since the lockdown began. And these students come from some of the most affluent families from all across Gujarat. So we are creating a special observation paper just on what do they do with these kids for these 50 days. And they're doing amazing stuff. So whatever is happening within your ecosystem, try to document it, because these documents would actually create the next knowledge bank that the world needs. And as an educationist, or as a part of the education community in the society, it is not just our duty to deliver knowledge, or it's also our duty to create the knowledge that the world would need in the coming times. One of the very big skills that makes humans better than all the other races is our ability to forecast and predict. And when you've experienced education for such a long time, this is the right time when you should do that forecasting and thinking upon that, how would your ecosystem evolve? Because your small little observations could become the biggest change in the coming times. We at Blub World are trying to find India's most creative school, whichever is doing, either you, your teachers, your management, your parents, or anybody, if you're doing anything which is innovative, path-breaking, even a small little idea that can make a change in any school across the world, we're trying to find that small little idea. And there is a very big cash prize just for sharing that idea. The reason for keeping a cash prize is just so that we can actually get the right innovations coming to us. It's not a measurement of the kind of innovation that you bring in. So our teams will connect and share those ideas with you. I hope you enjoyed the last 20-30 minutes that you spent with us. And if you did and you want to attend the future sessions, you can open your mic and say a big yes. And thank you so much, everybody, for taking out the time today.
Yeah, definitely. I would like to attend.
Definitely, yes. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, people. Thanks for joining.